anger part 4. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is 4. Anyway, last week I had mentioned for you guys to go back through your examples. I hope you took the time to do that and write down what your reaction should have been. And I hope that the time you spent with God and discussing those reactions was eye-opening for you. And I hope that you're seeing and kind of coming through to a new level of understanding for how you act and behave, and God is helping you through that. That's the ultimate goal here, right? So I said we were going to talk about something called personal rights. I have another worksheet. This is a worksheet heavy Bible study, which is, in my opinion, good because I like writing things down and it helps me think things out. So what is a personal right? Personal rights is your own set of rules for how others should treat you. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of this. Let me see. I have a worksheet and I'm going to post it below. I'm going to fold this because this is not mine and I don't want you to see what the person wrote. But this is what it'll look like. It's down below, my personal rights. So an example of a personal right is I have the right to be respected. Or I have the right to personal space. You ever have people like just touch you and maybe you're not that kind of person, so people come and touch you and you could feel the anger. Like maybe you're not a hugger and they are, and instead of them asking, can I hug you? They just come up and hug you. I've been guilty of doing that because I like hugging people, and so I'm sorry if I've done that to you. But these are your rules. These are not like universal rules that everybody lives by. These are certain things that affect you in a certain way. These are personal rights. The reason why we can't have personal rights is because anybody who violates our rights triggers our anger. So the best thing for you to do is to analyze, what are my rules and how can I now give those rules to God? Whew, that's a hard one, right? So on our worksheet, it tells you, make a list of all the personal rights you can think of. Here are some general areas where these are involved: myself, dating, clothes, money, possessions, friends, etc., etc. So they want you to write one rule or one personal right you have for each, or for 5 different groups. So that's what you're going to work on this week. What are my personal rights? I want you to make a list of your personal rights. Basically, you could also call these triggers, but make a list of personal rights. And this week, you know, it may take you a few days to think of all of them. But this week, what you're going to do is you're going to, in your quiet time with God, give those personal rights to Him. Here's a few reasons why. And I want you to look these scriptures up. The first reason is, okay, we have 1 Corinthians 6, 19 through 20. I want you to look that up. I want you to look up Romans 12 and 1. I want you to answer the question, how do you know you love God? And then I want you to answer the question, why do I need to give these things up? Why? What's the reason? What's the purpose? Why can't I just get mad at people when they do things I don't like? Why? Why do I need to let this go? So think about that. The cool thing about Jesus, and this is in Matthew 11, a lot of times, Matthew 11, 28 and 29, we talk about the yoke, right? He's like, take on my yoke. It's lighter. The burden is better, right? Because it's lighter because I'm helping you. But the cool thing about those 2 scriptures is he says, let me teach you. So ask God this week, Lord, what are you trying to teach me through exposing my personal rights and reading these scriptures? So it's 1 Corinthians 6, 19 through 20 and Romans 12, 1. Now, this personal right thing, that doesn't mean that I give other people the right to abuse me. Disclaimer, nope, not going to do it. I do have a right to personal space, But I have full rights to my own body, and you're not going to violate my body in a way that hurts me. I'm talking about minor things, touching, hugging, maybe they get too close to your face, things like that. So keep that in mind. There's a difference between people abusing you and you having like a rule for how you conduct yourselves and how you expect others to treat you. So these are a little different, okay? So I wish I had mine. I would tell you what they were. Oh, here's mine. Money. I want to determine where my money goes. I don't want to share with Marlon. I want to say where all of it should and shouldn't go. Schedule. I want to do things when and how I want. So one trigger in that is that I'm on time 15, 20 minutes early everywhere I go. And I have all my kids ready in line. We're ready to go. And my husband usually starts getting ready about 30 minutes till it's time to go. So he has 10 minutes before my clock says it's time to go. And he's thinking in his head, I can get there in 5 minutes. I don't need to rush. I'm thinking I want to get there early just in case I have traffic. That's my personal right. It's not necessarily a rule everybody follows, but it's one that I expect him to follow, whether he thinks he needs to or not. So those are some examples. So I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. Feel free to share if you want down below and we'll discuss. Love you guys.